House hunting expectations exposed. Welcome to This Week in Florida Real Estate podcast, hosted by
Christie Lemme
and John Lemme. As you know, my wife is a professional realtor, home agent, designer, and this week in Florida Real Estate, we're going to discuss house hunting. We've got some record-breaking, incredible stories of real families, real stories, real breakthroughs, real situations negotiated, correct?
Very real.
I'm actually going to open up with a raving review. You know, as we all know in life, and as you're reviewing a business or looking at Amazon or anywhere you go to make what's the first thing people do?
Look at reviews every time.
Every time. So I'm going to read a review about a home in Boynton Beach, Florida, that we hunted for the awesome couple of Caroline and Mo out of Maryland for here in Florida. Christie and John are an exceptional team. That's Christie and John. We could have not asked for a better team. We feel extremely fortunate that we were referred to Christie and John actually by Mo's brother, which is exciting. Their knowledge, attentiveness to detail, and efficiency in their communication were outstanding. Expect communication from people you engage for hunting for your home. So important, which we're going to unpack even more. Our expectations were greatly exceeded. An example of this is the detailed videos that were taken to really showcase the properties we were considering as our out-of-state buyers. Christie and John are truly unbeatable in their attempt to find exactly what you're looking for. Caroline and Mo, Maryland. This is awesome. And you can see this review is one of many on Christie's website, floridarealtor4u.com, under review. So Christie, even as I read that, I remember we first had a conversation with Caroline.
Yes.
And Mo, and discussed what they wanted, what their expectations were. You know, it's like when you ask someone, look, I want to go for an old school family Italian restaurant. People will say, well, this restaurant is, and they give you their expectations.
Absolutely.
So even as I read that about the expectations, we just kind of discussed the first conversation with Caroline.
First conversation is very important because we need to know our quote clients. We need to know our family of homeowners. Right. We need to know who, if they're on the other side house hunting, what exactly are they hunting for? So that first conversation was us getting to know each other, us letting them know that we communicate with you. We let you know from point A to point Z, all the way through the alphabet, what to expect, because it is a process, the house hunting process. So we communicate what we do as their real estate team. More importantly, they let us know, Caroline and Mo let us know exactly what they were looking for. Every detail. And that's so important because it's not what we want, it's what they want in their home. And
that's so important too, where we have an emotional attachment to what you and your family want. It's very important. We don't bring our personal tastes into it. We bring our knowledge and experience of the industry, of the market, of the quote unquote pricing, of the upgrades, updates, the competitive marketing, how long it's on the market, which we're going to discuss another house hunting success story from this week, which was probably one of the greatest house hunting success stories. Look, I mean, we would need the podcast to be 25 minutes to read this. It's 7 pages long. Christie just nailed them. See, when we represent you, it's very important. You know, who represents you in your hunt for a home? You know, 99.9% of you listening to this are not investors. You're not going to do 10 homes in a career. You're going to do 1 or 2 for your family. To us, it's a very important decision.
Yes.
As Christie said, family of homeowners. So you should expect the best. You should expect to have them have a pen that writes and take note. I remember you writing all the notes down for Caroline.
Yes. And what's also very important, you may have a spouse, you may have a child, or even some other significant other or loved one who is going to be purchasing or living with you. And you may have completely conflicting opinions about what you want. That's perfectly fine because we are masters at taking those and putting them together and finding a middle ground for everyone and finding that perfect home that will suit everyone's needs.
Same as you'll see the video review from Chad, where Chad's home was stagnant, wasn't selling in Port St. Lucie, was with a previous person attempting to sell it. And as you know, we're known for taking homes from stagnant to sold, engagement services, broker records, sold us home. Then we hunted a home for him in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And Christie reviewed the home, went out, searched it. We went there the first time, and then it came off the market because it didn't sell. And then you called Chad once again and said, Chad, look, we believe this is what you're looking for. We went back the second time. And we scored. That was look. And
we actually, to interject there, we actually went outside the box. And when I saw it came off the market, I called the realtor and I said, look, I really want to see this home.
Because you were watching for him.
Yes, we were watching
caring
this
about
home.
him.
I knew that it would be perfect because I knew exactly what he was looking for. And land was important to him because he was coming from Port St. Lucie. So I called the realtor. He said, absolutely, I'm putting it back on next week. However, go in and take a look. We did. We knew it would be the perfect home for him. And then that's when we called Chad. He was a little hesitant because he really wanted that pool. However, the yard was more important. The acreage was more important.
For the long term.
For the long term.
It's key.
And the ability to put a pool in the backyard. So we also really move through those components of what someone is looking for, put them all together for the long-term vision.
And what we believe we could find for you what you're looking for, because we live and breathe the real estate. What do I do for fun in real estate? And we were laughing the last night we were discussing this about, our friend David Dweck, who celebrated his, we opened up his brand new office down in Coral Springs for BRIC, Boca Real Estate Investment Club. We were talking about the mountain in Cullowhee, North Carolina, way back when we marketed a mountain when there was no smartphones. There was no, we're recording this podcast on a phone here in one of our properties in one of the areas in Florida. And back then we talked about when we were on CNBC Power Lunch for real estate. And it goes back to what I always say, serve the people. So you should have someone. Don't lower your expectations because of someone's lack of experience. I'll say it again. Don't lower your expectations of what you want in a home. We could talk about Chris and Christina. We could talk about Savannah and Adam. There's so many homes that we've hunted for individuals, putting ourselves in their lives, looking for what they want. And you should expect that. And
stick to what you want.
That's right.
However, be open to other solutions to get there. And that's what we did with Chad. So always, always, always stick to what you want. Once again, John and I don't interject our personal, what we might want in a home or what we would be looking for. It's so important, just like for Caroline and Mo and Chad, for us to really look at what did they want. And that's exactly what we did. And we found a solution to both of them.
Because I'm a stage and designer. I'd go mirrors, black and white, and soprano look.
Yes.
That's effective, right?
No.
She's the professional stage and designer, even though everyone says I am, but that's another point. But what's interesting is that when you have someone on your side representing you, you go house hunting. We'll talk about Susan and Dave's condo. I mean, it's going to set a precedent in that community because it was on the market. And I love the line that Christie wrote here. Just looking at the photos from 2021 listing, it appears nothing has really been touched in the last 5 years. As real estate professionals, we both fully understand that this condo has been on and off the market since 2024 with a roller coaster pricing. Now, guess who didn't like that? The person receiving that, because he realizes that the person that Dave and Sue, who's representing Susan and Dave, is knowledgeable and experienced and focused and is a winner and is a 1%. As many of you know, we had an opportunity of marketing successfully Max Meyer, who's just starting pitching for the Miami Marlins, who's doing phenomenal this year. We broke a record with his property. He's a professional baseball player, a starting pitcher for the Miami Marlins. He's a top 1%. And I'll say respectfully, we're the top 1% in real estate. When it comes to house hunting, guess who doesn't like that? The person has to read that email and bring it to the person that he's representing. And guess what? Another greatest line you said too. Please understand that this number is the absolute most I could offer them to offer. And that was it. And that was about 30% from where it started, correct? 30% off where it started. So just even as I'm reading that, Christie, kind of shared everyone. Now remember, the person who received that may have not liked what Christie said because he had to answer the fact of Christie's representing Dave and Susan and their family long term. And I get so fired up about this because it's so important. I love being a professional in this business and being knowledgeable. Because just kind of sharing.
And it comes to respecting both sides. So that's important for us too. We don't go in and bottom line someone and try to drag them through the mud. That's not it. We are fair. And that's what happened here. We gave him an offer. He came back and said that it had all these upgrades, which it did 10 to 15 years ago.
So say that again, please.
Which it did 10 to 15 years ago.
Which,
yes.
Bam.
They did upgrade it 10 to 15 years ago. And there's some nice upgrades. I'm not knocking that.
15 years ago.
However, it's 10 to 15 years ago, not recent. So, that's a little misleading.
Key word, misleading.
Yes.
Like you said, the fixtures are also outdated. The floors are original. This needs to be replaced. The fixtures are old. Washer and dryer are old. Boom, 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 boom. You get him out with Max Meyer. He's throwing a 100-mile-per-hour fastball. He's going to nail you.
And it was not arrogance. It was confidence.
Oh, it's confidence.
It was confidence.
Professional.
It was confidence in what I was seeing as I walked through, because I am a professional home stager and designer. So I pick up on those features in a home. Yes, they were still nice. However, I knew when the listing said that it was updated, that was several years ago. Now, I know it wasn't lived in continuously during that time. However, that doesn't change the fact that those upgrades were done 10 to 15 years ago. Now, will our clients keep those upgrades? Maybe, maybe not, but that's not the point. We're moving into negotiations, and that's what we were representing our side, letting them know, letting the, I guess you would say, the quote buyer's agent or seller's agent know that we knew those upgrades hadn't happened in the last 10 to 15 years. We also knew what needed to be done. Yes, there's impact windows, but one of them is leaking in the front. You don't have a permit for a couple of the components.
Time out on the field. This is awesome. As you said in it right here, you said, while the impact windows were replaced in 2020, I don't see a permit for the new AC. So Christie did all the research. When you have professional representing you and bringing it to the table, because it's a financial investment. For Susan and Dave, this is their long-term condo. Mm-hmm. They're downsizing, going to a great community, really downsizing, but they're taking from, well, no matter what Dave does, he's downsizing from his storage, going to a condo in a beautiful community. We found him a beautiful condo.
Yes.
And it's so important to have someone that's professional that represents you. And it just a little side note real quick before we continue with the podcast and wrap, because our goal is between 10 to 15 minutes. Christie also publishes every month, which people love, the Florida Living Insider News, your exclusive monthly guide to home tips, real estate trends, and DIY inspiration. This is physically mailed to you. So for those of you who would love to receive this, which I suggest you should, Christie, how can they get a hold of you to get a hold of this?
Give me a call or text. You can simply text me it's like John said, this goes
physical.
out in the mail.
That's
so
awesome.
It's a physical mail. I know some people sent me their email. This goes out in the mail. So text me your physical mailing address where you would like this mailed to. And that number is 561-644-0578, 561-644-0578, and include your name too. So your name and your physical mailing address, and we will get this edition out to you plus the following months.
And this one here was great. The summer one, you had Summer Home Guide 2026, 6 simple upgrades that protect your investment, lower expenses, and make your home enjoyable all summer.
Yes. Incredible.
So that's value that we bring to all of you, because it's awesome about the Florida Living Insider News. And I say it's awesome because in here we talk about the upgrades and just kind of, once again, one more point too, we talk about you should expect someone to be that confident. You said earlier, when a professional athlete goes on to a football field, baseball field, the U.S. Cup, the World Cup, just end the soccer, they go there to win. They're not concerned about how they make the opponent look. They win. In real estate, when we represent you, we want to win for you. And we're not concerned if we may hurt someone's emotional feelings and exposing the truth about permits and outdated fixtures, correct?
No, and it's not even the other realtor, handled it fine. When it comes down to it, we represent both sides. He was simply representing his client, which is perfectly understandable. I'm seeing it differently than he sees it. And that's all right. So we discussed it. We had a very grown-up conversation. He was open to what I was saying, and he respected what I was saying because he knew that I was correct. I don't have to be right. I'm correct.
Correct. Factual.
Very factual in what I'm finding. Now, I had someone tell me, well, this would all be exposed during during the inspection. Someone shouldn't have to wait until an inspection to find all of this out, because a lot of times if something doesn't have permits, or maybe there's something there hidden that you don't necessarily know about, and it could be found out during the inspection, but if I can discover it, why should we wait until the inspection? Why should my quote clients have to pay for an inspection when I can find that out right away, and then we can move on to the next home? So it's so important for us to do our due diligence with our family of homeowners who are seeking those homes, whether it's for a permanent home here in South Florida, vacation home, a family compound, land, for business, whatever it might be. We do the same. We take the same steps in that due diligence of finding out everything before we even get to the inspection. It just saves so much time and so much heartache, because you never want someone to fall in love with a property only to find out during the inspection it's not quite what they thought it was and they have to back away. That's not a positive feeling at all. And it really breaks down the relationship too. So for our clients, our family of homeowners, we take those extra steps and go that extra mile, really finding out all this information.
And you should expect that.
Yes, you should.
And then on the flip side, when we feature your property and we represent you in an opportunity of successfully marketing your property, you'll never get hammered in negotiations the other way because we represent you. That's how we have the record. That's how we, just in the last 2 months, we've had record-breaking success. We've had condos get multiple offers above asking for all cash. I mean, you say that's 1%. Condo, South Florida, all cash above asking. That's another whole podcast in and of itself.
But to interject there, the reason that you won't get hammered on that is not because we're such master negotiators. Yes, we are. However, we prepare you as the homeowner to know what people are looking for, whether it's outdated fixtures, whether it's permits, items that you may need to get fixed in the home, touch-up painting, new ceiling fans, whatever it is, we give you a guideline to really go by before that home hits the market. Now, if you don't want to change anything, then what we do is we make sure to put that in the property description. We're truthful about that. Our photos are truthful. So when they walk into your property, those potential new homeowners, those quote buyers walk in, they know what they're getting. So that's also how we cut off anyone being able to come to us and want that $20, $30, $40, $50,000 off because something that they found out. That's simply not happening.
And that's one thing, and that's one aspect of our business, one feature of our business is you'll never see photo manipulation.
No.
You'll never see AI. You'll never see virtual staging. You'll never see, and what we're known for is our personal video walkthroughs. I do crazy videos of directed marketing. All of you know. I do my crazy floatable, what's it called? Inflatable dance, which I am a dance major, as you know. You have to have fun. We love what we do. But seriously, the AI, the photo manipulation, it is running wild in this, which I love it because when we feature people walk in, it's like, wow, it's real. Go look at 10 pieces of crap and come and see our home. It's just a fact.
And AI, there's a time and a place. There's a time and a place for AI. We choose not to use it. I see some quote listings that do use it intentional just to highlight a property. Unfortunately, I'd say if you had 10 properties that were using AI, 8 of them don't use it appropriately and end up misrepresenting the property. So there's a time and a place. It's our decision not to use it simply because we want those potential new owners to walk in and instantly know what they have that expectation. They have that expectation of what they're going to see simply by watching our videos and looking at our photos.
So as Christie's name tag says, what's your name tag say? Making your real estate dreams a reality. Let's make your house hunting dreams a reality. Let's make your marketing of your property successfully a reality. Whatever we could do for you in the real estate in the state of Florida, in between house hunting and between featuring a property, as always, I welcome you to call or text Christie directly at 561-644-0578, 561-644-0578, or however you're watching this podcast, listening to it, whatever platform you're on. Thank you up front for following, liking, subscribing, sharing, and also get ready for some special surprise guests. We're going to be going out to stores. We're going to go out to some restaurants, we're going out to some vendors, some contractors. We're only going to take the podcast episodes to the next level. And just to wrap it up, you should expect clear and consistent communication. You should expect never to lower your expectations of what you want in a home or marketing your home because of lack of experience to the people that quote unquote represent you in the house hunting or representing you in featuring your property. And you should also, whenever you are out there house hunting, you should feel comfortable enough to ask any question you want to Christie, to us, and we then parlay to the homeowner. Christie, how do you want to wrap that up to the expectation?
Just don't lower your expectations. Right. Know what you want going in. Be open to other ideas, but stick with what you want because in the long term, it's your home, it's your land, it's your vacation home, it's your family compound. Whatever it is, it's yours. So, make sure you stick to what you want. Be open to other suggestions, but stick to what you want.
And make sure for those of you who may not be receiving this in the mail now, make sure you request your absolutely free subscription, which once a month this goes out in the mail, to Florida Living Insider News, your exclusive monthly guide to home tips, real estate trends, and DIY inspiration. You can once again get a hold of Christie, call or text 561-644-0578, 0578 or on all the social media platforms, Messenger, go to the website, email, etc. With that said, may your house hunting be a success. We love real estate. It's what we do for fun. I absolutely love to see the smiles on families, and we love negotiating. I say, I don't hunt animals. I don't hunt, but I house hunt. Correct?
That's right.
That said, have yourself the most wonderful day, and we will talk soon. Thank you very much.
See you soon.